Hi, I'm Jamie, and today I'm going to talk to you about a certain songwriting skill that I think is really useful for your entire songwriting career, whether you're just getting started or you've been doing it for a long time, and that's editing music. I think a great way of getting started, getting the hang of editing music, is to edit pop songs or other music that you know that you didn't necessarily write. When you've written your own music, it's kind of hard to get a sense of what's good about the song and what's not. But it's a lot easier to judge other people's music because you're not as close to it and you didn't come up with it out of your own brain. So it feels more okay to change things and adjust things. There are a number of things, obviously, that you can go through when you're editing music. You can change the lyrics. You can make the story more clear. You can make the rhythms more regular. You can make the melody more memorable or easier to sing. You can change the structure of the song, make it have fewer choruses or not as many long wordy bits. There are all kinds of things to consider when you're editing music, and I'm going to give you a few examples from mainstream pop music of things that I would change if these songs were mine. Now, this isn't to badmouth anyone or try to make anyone feel bad, either for having written these songs or for liking these songs. I'm not saying these songs are bad. I'm just saying that if these songs are mine, there are things I would have done differently, and that's completely fine. For you to use something like this when you're practicing your music editing skills. The first example is Steal My Girl by One Direction. There are actually things about this song that I really like. I think it could be a really sweet love song, and he talks about how the girl's parents really like him and things like that. But there's this one line that just really bugs me every time I hear it. In the chorus, he says, "Everybody wanna steal my girl, everybody wanna take her heart away, couple billion in the whole wide world, find another one 'cause she belongs to me." And that really, really gets on my nerves because no, she doesn't belong to you. Like, are you talking about a human person or a dog? Like, it would be a really easy thing to fix as well. And you wouldn't even have to ruin the rhyme scheme or anything. You could just change a single word. You could say she belongs with me, or you could give her some agency and some choice in the matter, and you could change it to 'cause she's in love with me. So that's just one really simple way to change something that's really pretty problematic. If it weren't for that one thing, I think the rest of the song is fine. So if you hear a song on the radio that you feel like is okay except for one thing that really bugs you, see if you can figure out a couple ways to change the thing that bugs you. See if you can fix it. The next example is Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. And I actually really like this song. I think that it's really cute and fun, and it's fun to sing along to. And my issue with this song is actually a grammar issue. There's a bit in the chorus where she says, "Hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right at you, baby, so here's my number, so call me maybe." So for the longest time, I completely misinterpreted that one line where she says, "It's hard to look right at you, baby." And I thought she was saying, it's hard to look at you correctly. Like there's a right way to look at you and I'm doing it wrong. But I realized at some point when I actually read the lyrics rather than listening to them, that she's saying, it's hard to look directly at you, like staring into the sun or something. And that pause really makes it confusing for me. So an easy way to fix that would be to just extend the notes so the whole line is joined together as one phrase. It's hard to look right at you, baby. So there's another solution that I meant to mention at the time that I was recording, and I'm not sure why I didn't, and that is to move the word right a little bit later so that right at you sounds like all one phrase. So it's hard to look right at you, baby. And I think that would be a really easy fix to make that song a little bit easier to understand. My next example is Closer by the Chainsmokers. And I actually have a lot of issues with this song. One of my main ones is with a particular line in the chorus that I think really doesn't belong there. And the reason is I think the chorus is trying to set a particular mood. It's about two people connecting after not seeing each other for a long time, and it's supposed to be intense and sexy. And it says, "So baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover that I know you can't afford. Pull the sheets right off the corner of the mattress that you stole from your roommate back in Boulder. We ain't ever getting older." And like, we're right before the end of the chorus where it comes to the main memorable line that they want you to connect with. We ain't ever getting older. That's what they're building up toward. And they stop in their whole build up to say, the mattress you stole from your roommate back in Boulder. Like, why are you thinking about the roommate right now? That is irrelevant to the sexy scene that you've got going here. So personally, I would leave that line out altogether, maybe replace it with something else. You could change the order of the chorus and maybe put that part earlier. I think the easiest fix you could do would be to repeat a line and go, pull the sheets right off the corner of the mattress. Actually, why is it important that they stole the mattress? Like, I know they're talking about being poor. It's part of the theme of the song is that neither of them can afford anything that they need, and that comes up a lot in the song. But still, I think that's also an interruption to the theme of the song. So I actually want to replace that you stole line as well. So you could go, pull the sheets right off the corner of the mattress. Now I know we ain't ever getting older. We ain't ever getting older. And I think that would be a really easy way to maintain the intensity that they're going for, building up to the last line of the chorus without interrupting it or distracting from it. Another thing that kind of bothers me is that both characters, there are two singers in the song, and they both sing the same lines, but it doesn't make sense for both characters to have the same perspective. Like, they're saying, the tattoo on your shoulder. That's a really specific thing. Like, do they both have tattoos on their shoulders? Are they biting each other's shoulders? And about your Rover, do they both have a Rover that they drive around in? Like, things like that make it a little silly for both of them to be singing the same lines. So it would be kind of easy to fix it so that one of them says I, for example, while the other says you. So while one of them is singing bite the tattoo on your shoulder, the other could sing bite the tattoo on my shoulder. It would be pretty easy to fix that. Another thing I would change if it was my song is I would take more advantage of the fact that there are two singers with very different voices. They could have some really interesting harmonies during that chorus, and I think that would make it more memorable. Instead, they're singing the exact same notes as each other, just an octave apart, which is fine. That a lot of songs do that, and it's not really a problem per se. But I think it would be cool if, for example, they started on the same notes, and then the next chorus, one of them went up to a higher harmony, and then the next chorus they could go higher up again, and it could get more and more intense as the song goes on. So those are just a few examples of ways that I would edit some mainstream pop songs. Give some thought to it next time you're listening to music, and if there are things that bother you about a song, try and think about ways that you would fix those problems, or even think about ways that you would make a good song even better. That can be a great way to get started editing music, and then once you've got this skill down, then your own music can get better and better. So let me know if you have any comments or questions, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.